Welcome to the DW experience. 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 You ready for tonight?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the DW Experience. We are on episode 10. I'm absolutely excited. I hope everybody is having a great week. Shout out to everybody out there. Those of you who are snowed in, baby power's out. I know a lot of you are going through out there. So I just want to send a special shout out and just say welcome. Tonight, hey, Brianna, shout out to everybody. Tonight, I have a special guest. I need you to click like and share. We're going to tag some people into this. I have an awesome, amazing human being. He is an entrepreneur. He is a singer. He is a songwriter. He is a producer. He is a man of many hats. Welcome, everybody, tonight. My friend, Markevius Faulkner. Oh. All right. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
No complaints, man. I can't complain. How are you?
I'm doing well. I told you earlier, I'm just straightforward. I was just a little nervous, just because I think we talk outside. So to be talking on this stage and interviewing you, I'm like, this is, and I know you don't do a lot of interviews. Like when you agreed to do the interview, I was a little surprised because I was waiting on the no and you were like, yes. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. He's agreed to do the interview. So welcome to the show. I want to start from the beginning.
Can I say something before you start from the beginning?
Absolutely.
I love your theme song.
Thank you.
By the way, it's in the key of B. I like that. That's a nice key.
Thank you. And I'll tell you the funny story behind that theme song. I came up with it in 10 seconds.
Wow. I need to be interviewing you.
Okay. Next time when you have your show, I will be humbled and happy to be a guest on your show. That's from your lips to God's ears. So you do music. You are the singer. You're doing this amazing person. First of all, let me tag Markevius. Somebody make sure to tag Markevius in this and we'll share it as we go. But you are from Memphis, Tennessee. Number one, is there something in the water? It just seems like so many great artists, singers, like Memphis is just full of music. Like Carla, Irene, so many people come out of Memphis. What is it about Memphis?
Memphis is, I call it training ground. It's the breeding ground for talent. There are so many. I know 10-year-olds that can sing and play rings around people that's been doing it 30 years. It's just, I think we're so used to it. Like we're numb to it.
Okay.
Memphis is loaded with just talent. But we have a deep, rich history. Memphis has a deep history of talent. I can go on and on about Memphis, but
so let me ask you, are you from a musical family? When did you know you could sing? When did you know you wanted to do this?
I knew early on. I was a little boy. I was at my Uncle Boo Baby house.
Shout out to Uncle Boo Baby.
Uncle Boo Baby. His name is Steve, but we call him Uncle Boo Baby. Everybody got an Uncle Boo Baby, Uncle Joe, all that. So I was with my mom over Uncle Boo Baby's house, and he was. That's when they had I thought he was rich because he had the big screen TV, the one with I call it the big booty in the back.
Yes.
The big screen TV, and he was playing this video, and I kept seeing a bunch of guys on the microphone Well, at least I didn't know what it was. Now I know it's a microphone. And they was one guy stepped out and said, "Can I let Daddy sing? Can I let Dad?" I remember them doing that, and I just remember them sweating and how the audience was like really into it. And later, found out it was the Canton Spirituals. But just me seeing that visual, and he having a keyboard and an organ or something in his home, even in preschool, just like seeing Mr. Ferguson play the piano, like it was just something that just like I got to figure out what that is and how can I be a part of it. I just naturally was drawn to it. So very early on.
Do you remember your first solo?
My first solo. I don't, the first time I was, in front of people, it wasn't musically.
Okay.
My mom had a production company called M&M Production.
Okay.
And we would put on like shows. And I want to say I was, who was I? Whatever, it was a Black History kind of thing. And I did a speech. And then my first solo was Lord Help Me to Hold Out. John P. Key had a Lord Help Me to Hold Out. That was my first solo, I remember. But yeah, those two experiences was like the early experience of me being in front of people, like on the microphone.
So there is this young Markevius. I want to make sure you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. So young Markevius in Memphis, Tennessee. When do you decide to come to Vegas? How did your life navigate to pursuing music and taking it to another level by leaving Memphis? When did that come about?
It came about 2011. I started thinking about because by 2008 or so, I had already like put out music. I had already been like on the radio and doing things like pretty early as a young guy. But I wanted to learn production. I wanted to learn show business. I'm the kind of person I always just want to like keep going to the next level. Like I'm not very like, I'm a busybody, when it comes to like my work ethic is crazy. So when I started researching places I can go to learn show business and production, and Vegas was just like entertainment capital.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I knew like I need to come to Vegas. I need to learn production, learn show business, learn lighting, stage presence, all those kind of things, because Memphis is definitely heavily rooted in like gospel. I didn't learn show business. I didn't learn how to perform or tour necessarily. Even though I toured before I got here, I didn't learn those things, the principles of them, until I moved to Las Vegas 8-9 years ago.
Do you feel like you plateaued out of Memphis? Like, do you feel like you had done all that you could do in Memphis?
In a sense, I do, but I know there's some, so much more I could have done in Memphis, but Memphis didn't have the platform, that I needed to, to keep going. So I guess to answer the question, yes, and I just wanted more, and
Okay.
I wasn't gonna wait,
So, and I want to go back to your musical background, but you get to Vegas, and now, for those of you who may not know, you have worked with Frankie Marino, where you, congratulations, you have your gold record for 500,000 records sold. How did you end up working with Frankie? What were your first jobs when you came to Vegas?
Oh man, nobody never asked me this. So working with Frankie, I got a phone call from Crystal Wesley sings with Frankie as well. So I got a phone call from her because they were doing a show, a Ray Charles show,
Mm-hmm.
and the choir. Were you on that gig? No, you
Yeah.
weren't.
No. A couple of years ago, where we did the Elvis,
Yeah. No, you weren't on that one. But yeah,
Okay.
that was another gig. But it was 2000. I don't know when this was, but I got a phone call. Frankie wanted a choir, so Crystal just reached out. I think she was overseas at the time or somewhere. She reached out and she's like, "Hey, I'm trying to put a choir together for a show at the Smith Center. If you're available, like blah blah blah." So I was like, "Cool." I put on all black. I don't know who Frankie was. I went. I did the sound check. I was like, "Man, so the white guy can sing, you know. I pick on him about that all the time. So I did the show, but it was a part of the show. I'm gonna tell you how I started with Frankie. It was a part of the show where the choir had to come out through the audience, and we were singing, "Please, please don't go." We was just doing that and walking out, and you know, I was in the front of the choir, and he was on stage, and he just watched the choir come out. And he was like, "Who is that guy? Like, he's connecting with the audience. What, like something about him." So the funny part of the story is Frankie had been looking for me for weeks and weeks after the show. I didn't shake hands. I didn't network. I just did the gig and went back home. In fact, I was, to answer the other question, I was not getting work out here. You know, I'd applied for a job, like a traditional office job, 9 to 5 thing. And I kid you not, this is a true story. The day I went through like several interviews, you know, it's different rounds. So this was a high paying, like, a job, you know. So, so I went through my third interview and I got the job, and I'm driving with my shirt and tie. I'm driving to this company. I won't say the name of the company. So I'm driving to the company. I pull in the parking lot and I park my car, and I'm crying like, I came all the way to Vegas and this is whatever. So I'm getting out the car, my phone's ringing. I'm like, who keep calling me? I answer the phone. He's like, "Hey, this is Frankie Marino." I'm like, "Hey, what's up, man? What's happening?" He was like, "Man, I've been looking for you. I got a job for you. If you want to be a part of our band, we're going to Australia in 2 weeks. I would love for you to be a part of this band. Let me call you back." And I was like, job. And I ended up calling him back. I never went in the building. I sent the email and, you know, politely declined the position. I never went in the building. And from then, like, God has just been blessing, you know, ever since I've been in Vegas.
So, okay, so I'm going to change it up a little bit, but I mean, listening to your story, number one, did you want to give up? Was there a time you're not getting work, you come to Vegas, it's not going, you're not booking the gigs, now you have to go to a regular job, the last thing you came to Vegas for. Were you discouraged? Did you want to quit, or did you believe that I know something's gonna break at some point?
Both. My natural man was like, "Man, this is cray, man." I was doing well in Memphis. I had no reason to leave Memphis. I was singing, playing, producing, doing all that back home. And then my spiritual man was like, "Don't forget who you are. Don't forget your dreams. Don't forget what you journal about, your vision boards." So your vision casting, and I'm very huge on vision casting. So absolutely, I wanted to give up because I wasn't getting any work. Nobody knew who I was. Like, people knew me back home, and it's so crazy. I can go back home and take pictures and listen to myself on the radio in the whole region, the whole southern part of the States, or even East Coast. But out here, nobody knew who I was. I came out here with nothing. I didn't have my car. I didn't have a whole lot of money. I had my, royalty checks and residuals, but I didn't just have hard liquid cash on me like that. In fact, I was catching the bus because I didn't have a car. Uber wasn't out. So I was catching the bus. The only street I knew was Rancho and Las Vegas Boulevard. Those are the only two streets I knew. So absolutely, there were moments where I didn't want to do this and didn't want to pursue this. And I was like, what other gifts do I have? What administrative gifts do I have? And how can I, do work?
Let me ask you, are people jealous of you?
I'm learning that I believe people are. But I struggle with that because I have no clue why.
I mean, just listening to your story, you've been blessed, and I think sometimes when people look from the outside, they see, he's working with Frankie, he's got this business, this vocal teacher, he's working with, you've worked with some of our favorite celebrities, Kim Burrell, Lexi. I don't even want to name all the people that you've worked with, because you have literally, I know that you can open your phone right now and call up some people, because you just, people respect you. So I wonder, like, do you find people jealous of you? Do you find that, as they say, they hating?
Well, one of the things that I learned the past maybe 5 years or so, like I learned that that's not my responsibility because I would
Mm,
that responsibility. But if you feel some type of way about me living, breathing, and functioning in my gift that I didn't ask for, it was a gift, so I got it at birth. That's not. It's not. It's none of my business how you feel about me being who I am. That's
mm.
that's you. If you talk to me, if you get to know me, you will. If you knew my story, you knew how I got to where I am now. Why would you? You would. Yeah. If God can do it for me, He can do it for you too. So, but
So, with all of your experience, and we have so much more to talk about, but being in the industry, you have been in the industry for well over 10 years professionally. Up till now, what has Markevius learned about himself and about the industry?
um, what I learned about the industry is you really need it's talent is 40%
Hmm.
of the whole picture. Talent, singing, the whole musical part. Um, the other 60 is how you made people feel, who you are off stage. There are some people who are uberly talented, but they have the worst attitude. They're self righteous. They're so successful in their mind. They've been there, done that, recorded this, opened up for this person, and they have this self righteousness. And I learned that, and I learned this from Donald Lawrence, and I know Maya Angelou said it, but Donald Lawrence told me one time, like people don't remember what you sound like; they remember how you made them feel. Um, and I always carry that with me. And what I learned about myself is I genuinely love teaching, and I love people. And I'm naturally introverted, but I absolutely love people so much where it sometimes breaks my heart when I hear
Mm.
someone's jealous or hear that someone feel a certain way about me. That actually like messes with me sometimes.
How do you think you've made people feel?
Um, I hope people feel good. I hope people feel inspired. My gift is not music. My that's Most people think, oh, your gift is music and producing and writing no, my gift is a gift of encouragement, a gift of teaching, and I have a natural gift of wisdom. If I was an auto mechanic, I would be trying to teach people how to be an auto mechanic. If I was a basketball player, I would want to teach the fundamentals of basketball, not to be the star. So I hope people feel good. That's my goal, that you feel good, inspired, or encouraged, being connected to me in any kind of way.
So, like, it sounds like what I'm hearing, the gift is the conduit to what you're really called to do or called to be. Talk about that some more, because I find that so fascinating to even, hear you say, music is not really my calling. I think there's some people listening right now that'll listen on the replay that you just blew their mind, because you have people who are killing themselves to get in the industry, who want to make it, who haven't had the success, and they feel like they're not working in their gift. But what I'm hearing from you is your gift is not your calling is not necessarily your gift. Can you talk about that?
So, and I learned this because I study gifts, and I study gifts from a biblical perspective. Most people think because they have a natural talent, that's their purpose. So sometimes a lot of frustration comes with a lot of artists and creative people because you have a skill set that you're good at, and you feel like that's your purpose in life because you have a skill set. You can learn
Hmm.
to play piano, right? But once you figure out the gifts of the spirit, once you study the gifts of the spirit and the fruit of the spirit, and find who you are in that list from that God-given gifts of and music is not one of the gifts of the spirit. There's a gift of encouragement, wisdom, pastor, evangelist, teacher, prophet. Those are gifts from God. Now you can use and Sherry Jones Moffitt, and it's not like no name dropping. These are people from Memphis that I'm just cool with, right? But
No, it's okay. Hey, Sherry.
She sings "Encourage Yourself." By the way, that's okay. But she,
that little old song, yeah.
She always reminded me that you can use whatever vehicle you choose, and the reason why I feel like God has blessed me because I use the vehicle of music because I have a skill set in that. I have a passion and a heart for it, so I use it as a vehicle to get my message across of encouragement, empowerment. Mm-hmm. My dream is to help make other people's dreams come true. I do not like being in the spotlight. I think it's too boring for me. Being a star is boring. I feel like stars burn and they fall, right?
That's good. That's good. It's temporary.
It's temporary. But if I can help produce stars, if I can be a producer of blessings, I'm happier that way. I'm happier when I'm teaching. Like I love touring. I've been around the world a couple of times, literally a couple of times. But I'm even more happier like if I'm teaching and inspiring and encouraging Daryl, encouraging John or Ashley or Freddie to be who they are. That I can sleep better at night than me being like, woohoo, So
that's so good because it really, if I can say it this way, you can be a hairstylist, but your calling would be to encourage people to feel better about themselves through doing hair. Am I saying that right?
There are people who work in the beauty industry and sometimes people know their purpose and sometimes people just naturally just kind of on their frequency and they're doing well because you just tapped into it. But when you know your purpose is to make people feel better and not be self-conscious and to feel beautiful in some kind of way, and you just so happen to know how to do hair and make people feel great, it's the conversations that you're having in the chair while you're getting braided or twisted or locked or shampoo. It's those conversations. I'm telling you, that's why the Bible says your gift will make room for you. It didn't say your talent. It didn't say your skill set. It said your gift. And you have to really, really, I'm gonna tell you, I encourage people to Google spiritual gift test. If you Google it, it's a long test. It's about 50, maybe 100 questions. Take that test. And you may see that you may be number one in administration. You may be a phenomenal singer, but you're number one in administration. So ask God help me. How can I use my talent and my gift? And how can I merge them to serve the world, serve mankind? So I figured out mine is teaching. Mine is encouragement. So I use my gift and my natural skill set in music, and I merged them. That's why I have, the business I have. I can't hear you.
Artist, business owner, entrepreneur, looking for a new way to promote your business? Look no further. Hit me up at the dwexperience702@gmail.com or just DM me. We're waiting on you.
I can't hear you. Yep.
Have you always wanted to learn to play an instrument? write a song, or work with a vocal coach? Melodic Minds Music Academy is more than your average studio for beginner and professional music lessons. Here at Melodic Minds, we strive to use music as a vessel to build self-confidence, respect, and discipline to help our students accomplish their goals and dreams. For several years, Melodic Minds has created a culture that fosters artistic creativity. We teach aspiring musicians, songwriters, performers, and singers of all ages and learning capacities. Visit us at www.melodicmindsmusicacademy.com. Click, enroll, and start perfecting your craft today.
All right. Markevius.
What's going on, brother?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Jumped on in. I saw that DW was having a malfunction with the microphone, so I'll come and fill in. So, coming into the interview, I just wanted to kind of add on to it. Oh, there you go. So I just
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Can I tell you something? In all the 10 episodes and a month and a half I have been doing this show, this has never, ever happened to me. One time it happens on Dante's show. And, I was at the new beginning. I'm back, y'all. Thank you, Pastor Jay, for stepping in.
I was going to ask a question before I get off.
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely, please.
So, Markevius, we know all about your successes and all the great things you're doing. What is your next goal for 2021?
The next goal for 2021. I am starting. I know I'm probably jumping ahead of the interview, but I'm starting two things. I'm starting to mobilize music education. So we're going to have buses that go out into underserved communities to build academics in our young people. And also I'm launching a product line of music education games. So it'll be card games, board games, actual physical drop the puck down the thing kind of game. So those are my two goals, to really, really dive into this music education thing to enhance the minds and help with some of these test scores in our community and stuff. So those are the goals I have.
So let's talk. Go ahead.
So you're trying to add something to be able to build a legacy, so that when you leave this earth, you can say, I build a legacy to the next generation of singers.
Hey, I'm more so focused on the mindset of creative individuals. I'm not necessarily thinking about a legacy per se, but I just know how it is being young, growing up, and not having that platform, being called weird, being called different, but having that space where you can be who you are, and using music as a tool to inspire those. So that's really my goal for 2021. Like, it's not like to build my name, put my name on something, say I did this when I left the earth, before I leave the earth, nothing like that. Just music education, enhancing minds, and letting people know that it's okay to be who you are, and I'm using music as a vehicle for that.
Yeah.
Hey, well, thank you, everybody. This is Pastor Jay. I'll see y'all and be watching in the crowd.
Thank you, Pastor Jay. Shout out